welcome you to week 2 of ACC basketball, and we get the second week kicked off in Pittsburgh tonight. The Panthers are 2-0, and they're scoring a lot of points, and they welcome 1-1 Florida Gulf Coast. And one of the rising stars in the league is the ACC Rookie of the Week, Bob Carrington. He joins All-ACC product Blake Hinson a season ago for Jeff Capel's Panthers. And tonight, a second meeting ever with Florida Gulf Coast. Last time they faced one another, it was the 200th win all-time inside the Oakland Zoo. And for Jeff Capel, Dan, it's an interesting setup. That move to the tournament last year seemed to re-pivot or reset his basketball program at Pitt.
Wes, I think program is the important number, is the important word, because last year his team was based upon a backcourt that included Jamarius Burton, Nelly Cummins, Greg Elliott, Nike Sabandi. Those guys scored more than 45 points, had more than 15 rebounds, and averaged more than 11 assists combined. And so it's a new look in the backcourt for this year, and a very much younger look. Carlton Carrington, Bub Carrington, you mentioned, has played very well through 2 games. Jalen Lowe, the other highly touted freshman in the class, and they're combining with Ishmael Leggett, who has played a lot of basketball at Rhode Island, just hasn't played basketball here at Pitt. So going to be a really interesting early season for the Panthers.
You get a look at 2 of the guys on the floor, of course, and that is Carrington and Leggett. And it is Bub Carrington who handles, and Pitt gets the ball first off the tap. Federico, and here's Hinson on the drive, a little soft stop and a score for Blake Hinson gets us going tonight.
Wes, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody stop like that. That wasn't exactly a jump stop, but it worked.
Florida Gulf Coast, their best player is on the bench to start tonight. That's Isaiah Thompson, Ramir Barno, Cyrus Largy, Chase Johnston, Zach Anderson. Keyshawn Kelman is a Princeton transfer, and he gets the ball inside here on the block. This is Kelman backing down on Federico. Long 3 out front, off the mark, and the rebound for Zach Austin, a transfer from High Point, who has joined this program at Pitt and already had an impact as well. Here's Carrington to the basket, and he'll draw the foul. That is Chase Johnston, who stepped in front of him to draw personal number 1.
Wes, Florida Gulf Coast likes to shoot the 3. They fire up a lot of them. So far this year, they haven't made a very good percentage. Pat Chambers told us today that he'd really like if they would score a little bit more from 2. But when you miss 3s, that allows a team like Pitt that wants to get out in transition to really get out and go.
First points for Bub Carrington as you get a look at Pat Chambers, second year in Fort Myers. 208 wins in his career. Second free throw from Carrington is good. The freshman from Baltimore had the triple-double on opening night against North Carolina A&T. Quite a statement to begin your Pittsburgh career for Bub Carrington. Baseline, this is Anderson, and he'll draw a foul. Zach Anderson is a junior from Apopka, Florida, who averaged about 31 minutes a year ago. And he draws Blake Hinson's first and number 1 tonight on Pitt.
Anderson is a big guy, Wes. He's not a bruiser. Goes about 6'7", 205 pounds, but he's a pretty good shooter. He's a solid rebounder. And as he showed you right there, he can handle the ball a little bit. Hinson is a very valuable player for this Pitt offense. He's got to be careful to stay out of early foul trouble.
Anderson had been 2 of 2 at the free throw line before the miss there through the first couple of games. Hit the back end to put the Eagles on the board.
And both teams have started in man-to-man.
Hinson, long 2 out front. And the rebound pulled away by Anderson. Two ball from in front is knocked down, and that is Largy, the senior from Miramar. And right back the other way, the Panthers answer. Hinson a triple.
And Hinson likes to shoot him, and the further away the better. And he can really get good looks in transition. Florida Gulf Coast has got to get back.
In traffic, Anderson. Kelman tried to keep it alive, slapped it away to Austin.
That's great hands by Austin.
Carrington. Wrap around inside. Federico the catch and score.
Boy, what a pass by Leggett. And that's what Federico does. They don't run plays for him, but he does a great job finding open spots, particularly after dribble penetration or off the screen and roll.
Early 6-point lead here for the Panthers. Inside, there's the dunk from Kelman. Keyshawn Kelman is a terrific prospect who had, as you see, 14 and 7 against Ave Maria last Friday night in Fort Myers. In the home opener for the Eagles after a road loss at Indiana started their campaign. Henson, a nice move. He's got 7 early.
He can be a very streaky player, and you can't just play him to shoot the three. He does a nice job handling the ball and scoring off the dribble.
He had 26 against Binghamton on Friday night. Jump hook no good from Kelman.
You're not going to shoot it over Federico.
And Carrington really drives the ball. Deep three. Oh, Henson was standing in the script pit when he launched it.
I don't feel like he has a range limit. I don't feel like he feels he has a range limit.
There's a three out front. And the Eagles answer quickly. And Ramir Barno knocked it down.
Yeah, that was Barno. He hadn't been shooting the threes, but he is capable, and they like to get out, and they like to shoot him in transition.
There's Carrington. Well, not a lot of time to wait around on defense, Dan. The ball's going up here early. Baseline drive, that's Largy. And another one out of the corner. Barno has delivered back-to-back threes, Dan, after he started the season 0 for 4.
Now he's got 8 of the 11 points.
Yep.
Little zone defense now.
From the corner, Austin the three. Federico recovers and fouled on the stick back. And that is Kelman drawing his first and the second on the Eagles. Pitt with an early 2-point lead on FGCU. Well, Pittsburgh went 24-12 last year and went to the NCAA tournament for the 27th time in their career, and their first 20-win season in 6 years. And for Jeff Capel, maybe the 14 ACC wins, Dan, is the defining statement of a season ago that was, I'll tell you what, they were fun to watch and a terrific, terrific basketball team.
They really were, Wes, and it's Jeff Capel knows he's not just building the team, you're trying to build a program, and he lost 4 really key guys, but he's got some key guys remaining.
And Blake Henson is one of those guys who is off to a really good start with 7 points here. And of course, Capel now in his 6th year. Took the Panthers to the tournament last year, but I tell you, the thing about it was they got wins, they got critical wins during the season, and we were talking today with him about just the building process in the last 3 years, let alone the first 2, which were so rugged to overcome in terms of just, culture and the things you have to do. Here's Weir inside off the bench now for the Eagles, and Andre Weir, the 6'10 junior from Hollywood, Florida, missed the shot and then commits a foul as Austin cleared away the rebound.
They've tried to go inside a couple of times now against Federico. And Federico, yeah, he's a little bit thin, and you can muscle him, but he does a good job maintaining his position, and then it's just really hard to shoot over him.
3rd foul on the Eagles, and the first on Weir. Franco Miller Jr. from the Bahamas has come on the floor. And right there at the foul line area, Leggett drives down on the back down dribble and scores his first point. So the transfer from Rhode Island, Ishmael Leggett, on the board, and the Panthers have pushed it to a 4-point lead. Barno. Dalion Johnson has also checked in. Transfer from Penn State on the floor for the first time, and Austin got a hand on it, but it was ultimately deflected away. And it looked like Franco Miller was the last guy to touch it there for Pat Chambers' team.
Panthers really turning up the defensive intensity.
Yep, here comes Jorge Diaz-Graham into the lineup, and Pat Chambers' team with an intention to go to the block, but so far Pitt has turned away the Eagles a couple of times. They got Federico, and here is Carrington, the rookie. Ishmael left open for three. Leggett can't hit it. And the Eagles, three out of the corner was an air ball. Leggett and Pitt on the run. All the way down and knocked away. And last touch by FGCU.
Boy, Wes, you really don't have much time to get settled in on defense in a game like this. Leggett pushing the ball very hard, and it does a nice job getting by. Loses it out of bounds, though.
Isaiah Thompson, who was a preseason A-Sun choice, is in the ball game. And the foul was ticketed to Franco Miller. It'll be his first. Fourth on the Eagles. And there is Guillermo Diaz-Graham, the older of the twins from Tenerife and the Canary Islands. And so far the struggle for Pitt has been at the free throw line. Panthers, well, that one goes down, so.
This is a really big Pitt lineup against a relatively small Florida Gulf coastline.
Baseline layup. And the Eagles back on the board to cut it to within three. Zach Anderson with his first field goal. There's Henson fighting through, and he'll draw another Florida Gulf Coast foul. Lee Cassell with Roger Ayers and Anthony Eads tonight on the whistle.
And we talked about Zach Anderson and his ability to handle the ball, and he's created a couple of baskets like that in this ball game.
And here is Henson at the line. He's got 7. Make it 8. Dan, he's going to be 24 years old on December 26th. And for me, and it was interesting, I thought, to listen to Jeff Capel talk about his leadership today with this team. And it's a different kind of leadership than what they have with Jamarius Burton the last couple of years.
But and that's because Henson is a different kind of person. You know, Burton very, very serious. Henson not so much.
This is Weir going to work. Left-hand turn, nicely done. Andre Weir's 3rd field goal of the year. And his first basket tonight. Long 3 from out on the left. Missed by Carrington. And we're going to get a block call as you see Dalion Johnson, the junior from Boston and the transfer from Penn State, colliding with Guillermo Diaz-Graham.
Well, Graham is trying to get in position, but he never has both feet on the floor facing the dribbler. And it's the Florida Gulf Coast might have a little bit better chance going inside against the Diaz-Graham twins. Weir, they list them at 285. And the twins go about 200 and 210.
There's Franco Miller. He will run the offense. Yep. Here's Weir as Dan called it. And he'll draw the foul. So Pat Chambers heard your strategy, Bonner, and he really liked it.
No, I heard Pat Chambers' strategy earlier today, Wes. That time, the previous time, the Panthers allowed Weir to really go to work. That time you saw they tried to double team him, and he drew the foul.
Well, a couple of fouls here on Jorge Diaz-Graham.
Wes, this Florida Gulf Coast team is a team that plays really hard. And they have hung right in there against the Panthers.
Weir hit the first, missed the second.
Now a little pressure. It's a 10-second violation.
Yep, 10-second call against Henson and the Panthers. As you see Jalen Lowe on the floor for the first time.
That's the first time that the Eagles have shown that pressure, and the Panthers just a little slow reacting to it.
Jeff Capel looking on at his team after their first turnover. In fact, the Eagles of Florida Gulf Coast University have only turned it over once.
Here's that battle inside.
Weir. And that's Guillermo Diaz-Graham. Jump shot is short. Here is Leggett in overdrive, trying to get to the rim again. And knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Panthers.
Now we mentioned Leggett is a guy who has great speed. He is a very aggressive offensive player.
Low. Here's Henson, a three, left of the circle, missed everything. It'll go out of bounds to the Eagles.
Henson can do that, Wes. He'll miss 3 or 4 in a row, and then he'll make 5 in a row.
So Blake Henson will come out of the lineup. Jeff Capel, who talked to us earlier today about potentially trying to get to a 9-man rotation. And he's dipped into the depth here early. Austin back on the floor. You got Guillermo Diaz-Graham. There's a three by Johnston that's off the mark. And the rebound for Will Jeffress, a redshirt junior from Erie, who's back on the floor this season for the Panthers after missing all of last year. Low on the drive, feeds Guillermo for the dunk.
Wes, they don't really run very many plays for those big guys, but all of them, the Diaz-Graham twins and Federico, do a great job following the ball.
Weir the long three. Here's Leggett open floor. Step back. Off the mark. Austin tried to tap it home, and I think they're going to call the foul here on Weir, which will be his second. But my goodness. Pitt waits for no man. Lowe gets it to Diaz-Graham for the dunk. Panthers ahead by 4 early. Four-point lead for Pittsburgh. We welcome you back to our coverage on ACC Network. And Pat Chambers and Florida Gulf Coast, in particular the Eagles program, they can go big game hunting, Dan. He's got a tough schedule, but they got some history of knocking off Power Fives.
Well, of course, they're famous as the Dunk City Bunch from the NCAA tournament a few years ago. But Wes, the interesting thing about them, they're playing tough opponents, but they're not playing those tough opponents to try to maneuver themselves in position for an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, because I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely that the ASUN is going to get an at-large bid. The only 4 games they have to win are in the conference tournament. That's the only way they're getting an NCAA tournament bid. But you play in places like Pittsburgh, you play in places like Indiana, you set yourself team up for tests that allows you to get better.
Johnston kicks it to the corner, a three by Anderson, I think. Kicked off the side of the glass, and here's Pitt now. Carrington back on the floor with Lowe. You see Zach Austin's out there, Guillermo Diaz-Graham, and Will Jeffress, who handles in the script. For Pitt. Lowe. Nice pass into the corner, Austin. Too strong with the three. Anderson ran it down. Did he travel with it? And Lee Cassell and Roger Ayers. Did he step out of bounds? I think he may have.
Somebody stepped out of bounds.
Yep, hit the white line right there. Nice piece of officiating, fellas. No foul, just stepped out of bounds. Ball stays with the Panthers. Low. Off the screen, couldn't knock down the foul line jump shot. 5-point lead for Pitt. Panthers are 7 of 16 from the floor, Dan.
Yeah, well, Lowe has done a lot of things here in the first 2 games, but he hasn't shot the ball well.
That's Barno. Inside Kelman to catch and score. Second field goal for Keyshawn Kelman.
Kelman's another big, strong guy on the inside. Nice execution of the screen and roll there.
See the details on Pitt shooting here recently. And we'll get a block call underneath. That's going to be on Barno. 7th now on FGCU. Henson returns for the Panther to replace Will Jeffress. Here is Zach Austin, who is 1 for his first 4 at the free throw line. Quick reminder to you that season 4 of All Access, the ACC Life, continues Sunday. Unprecedented access into the lives of the student athletes, coaches, staffs, parents, and fans. 6 o'clock Eastern, Sunday on ACC Network, and always streaming live for you on the ESPN app. 1 of 2 for Austin. Kelman scores again inside.
That's where Florida Gulf Coast would like to go. And Wes, the Panthers have not helped themselves from the free throw line here early in the game. They've only 7 for 12.
Well, they've had plenty of chances. Lowe, 3 ball, got it. Jalen Lowe, Dan, that's his first 3 as a Panther.
This is a kid who has a reputation. He can shoot the 3, Wes, but still getting adjusted. This is only his 3rd college game.
Barno. There's a nice matchup, Kelman and Federico. And Keyshawn Kelman is starting to find a little bit of room inside. He's got 8 in the first half to lead everybody.
Now, he used his body really, really well against Federico. Federico at 220.
Oh my goodness. Bob Carrington. And they're going to take it off the board. I think they're going to call the kick out.
He kicks his leg way out there, Wes.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
Yep. Basket comes off the board for Carrington. He'll get ticketed with his first, 4th on Pittsburgh. And you saw Largy get around there defensively. Carrington comes out.
Well, there would have been no
foul.
contact had Carrington not kicked his leg out, Wes, and that's the key. Largy was going by, and the leg got him.
Johnston throws it up and in with the right hand. Chase Johnston's first points, and the Eagles to within 1.
Wes, and as Florida Gulf Coast has been able to score more effectively, they've been able to get back and set their defense.
Terrific drive and score by Lowe.
And setting your defense only works if you prevent that kind of drive.
Johnston, the long 3 bounds away. Lowe has really kind of impacted the game here in the last couple minutes. Henson missing on the 3. And Ramir Barno, the freshman from Philadelphia, is on the floor running the offense for Coach Chambers. Another 3 that bounds away. That was Kelman.
I think Panthers be okay with that. Kelman is not a 3-point shooter.
Here's Lowe again. He'll miss on the 3. Federico kept it alive. 1 dribble. Bounces in traffic, and Ishmael Leggett is fouled on the way up. And that'll get us to a timeout. Missouri City, Texas freshman Jalen Lowe has got 5 for the Panthers, and Pitt's got a 3-point lead. You know, it's interesting. Pat Chambers finds himself in a unique spot because he's got to play freshman Ramir Barno out of Philadelphia, Dan. Quality minutes here because Isaiah Thompson's still coming back from a shoulder injury. And Barno, who came into the game averaging 4 points and was hitless from behind the three-point line, has answered that call in his third college game tonight. And so is Keyshawn Kelman, the Princeton transfer, with a lot more experience under his belt, obviously.
And Kelman has done his damage mostly from the inside. Florida Gulf Coast is 2 for 9 from beyond the arc, but they are 8 for 13 inside the arc. And the Panthers still struggling from the free throw line. They're now 7 for 13.
You get a look at Pat Chambers, of course, who is a Philadelphian himself. Second free throw by Leggett. The transfer from Rhode Island with 4. And
now
that's
the Panthers with some pressure. Pressure really bothered Florida Gulf Coast in their game at Indiana. Oh my.
Johnston throws up another runner with the right hand.
Literally throws it up.
7 minutes to go in this first half. Third game of the year for both clubs. Baseline drive, Henson. And well defended by Anderson here. Zach Anderson at 6'7".
Well, this is Johnson. He is noted as a three-point shooter, but he's been cold from out there.
There goes Carrington all the way to the basket. Goodness. What a drive.
He's really some kind of player, Wes. Very impressive looking.
Bub Carrington's got 6. The lead back to 4 for Pitt. Kelman could not take advantage of Federico. Anderson on the pass back to Kelman. Swiped out of there. Leggett on the attack. Ishmael Leggett winds through. Got slapped out in the second chance. Tried to go right back to Federico. Too hot to handle. Dalian Johnson was handling momentarily out front. Now here's Anderson.
Got a mismatch, trying to get close.
In the lane, jump shot good for Zach Anderson.
Had a 6-inch height advantage against Leggett, just was very patient. The Panthers couldn't get any help.
See, Anderson's got 5 and 4, and the Panthers have just committed their 4th turnover here of the first half.
Federico tripped and fell down. No falling down here. Carrington with a great job. Gets his head and shoulders past the defender and then has the strength to get to the goal. And here Anderson, just really good patience and a pivot, and he gets that shot off before Federico can come to help.
Out front, this is Isaiah Thompson. Back on the floor for Coach Chambers. Chase Johnston's had a couple runners inside, and the basket is good, and that's Dakota Rivers, a 6'8" senior from Windermere, Florida, who ties the game with his first field goal. Henson, a deep 3 again. And touched out by Rivers. It will stay with the Panthers. But Pitt is really fighting it behind the line. They are now 2 for 12 behind the line, Dan. And they are 8 of 12 from 2 in this first half.
These are both teams noted for their three-point shooting, not so much tonight.
There is Ishmael Leggett. He's got 6 on his second field goal.
He really is able to get to the basket.
Johnson, that's a 3, missed badly. Carrington ahead for Henson, and he'll draw the foul on the block. Rivers couldn't get set, and I believe he was in the moon, even if he had, but another score at the hoop for Leggett.
Like we said, he likes to attack, and Henson likes to attack as well. The defender has to be set, and Rivers never got set at all.
First of 2 for Henson.
And once you get set, you're allowed to move. You're allowed to move backwards. You're allowed to move laterally, and he just never got set.
Guillermo Diaz-Graham reports for Federico. Blake Henson, you see, with 10 and stays with 10. Only player in the game with double figures here in this first half. Baseline jumper, no good. Here's Lowe back on the floor. Into the corner, Carrington. Look at here, a 3. And Diaz-Graham was trying to battle for the rebound. I think Rivers is going to be called for the checkout here with under 4 to go. That'll bring us to a timeout. Pitt will have the basketball, 3-point lead when we continue. Three-point lead for Pittsburgh at the under 4 media timeout. And Dan, the 3-point ball has not been the Panthers' friend here in the first half.
No, it sure hasn't. This is a team that set a school record for 3-pointers made last year. Wes, I think part of the problem tonight is their shot selection from beyond the 3-point arc. They've hurried the shots sometimes, and Blake Henson in particular, he has taken a couple from the parking lot early in the shot clock. The Panthers have had such success being able to get the ball inside, but they're not getting inside by throwing it to the post. They get it inside by driving, going all the way to the basket and drawing the defense. And when they don't do that, they get a little stagnant on offense.
Going to get free throws as we come back. This is Guillermo Diaz-Graham, who had 12 points and a couple of threes himself in the ball game against Binghamton, and misses for the free throw line for the first time this year.
9
so
for
that makes
17.
Yeah, the struggle is real here for Pitt. And the second one no good. There's Isaiah Thompson coming front court. He's with Chase Johnston, Zach Anderson, Dalion Johnson, and Keyshawn Kelman. Entry pass for Kelman, double team. Johnson shoots for the tie. And here is Carrington trying to get Pitt going.
Again, the half-court offense has been where the Panthers have struggled.
Low on the drive, tough shot in the basket.
Wow.
Yeah. 5-point lead. Jalen Lowe's got 7 here in the first half. He's doubled his average. Almost a travel by Johnston. Kelman putting it on the floor against Guillermo Diaz-Graham. Nice reverse and score for Keyshawn Kelman.
Really good patience by Kelman. Jeffers was trying to get over there to double team, but Kelman did a nice job with the spin dribble to get away.
Leggett inside to Diaz-Graham, who lost it, but right to Lowe. Lowe, a lefty 3. Got it. Jalen Lowe quickly to double figures. 2 threes and 2 regular field goals for the rookie.
He's really had himself a half, Wes.
Yeah, Pitt's got a 6-point lead. Thompson, hand check and a foul. And Lowe will draw his first and the 5th on the Panthers. Dan.
Showing you some versatility, Wes. Taking a drive into the basket. This is a very tough shot, sort of a 1-on-3, and this is not a tough shot. He just drives his defender off with the dribble and then pulls up and knocks down the three. For a guy who hadn't made any threes coming in, he looks pretty smooth.
Yep. Back on the drive, this is Anderson. Picked up against Jeffress. Kick out, and the three ball from Thompson, no good, and foul going to be called against Largy. It'll be his first. It's 2 shots at the other end for Pitt. On the double bonus here with 1:44 to go.
Wes, coming in, the Panthers are a team that has not shot the ball well from the free throw line. It's still early in the season, but they were only 61% coming in.
And Ishmael Leggett is now 3 for 5. And he's got 7 here in the first half. 7 is as big as it's been for the Panthers in this first half, and now its largest advantage. 8-point lead.
What has really helped the Panthers to this lead, Wes, is they have been unbelievably aggressive on the defensive end the last couple times, and that has helped them create some opportunities on the other end.
Thompson has left the floor. Barno back for the Eagles. In the corner, Johnston fires. Rebound for Kelman. Skips it back to the wing. Johnston, and move it to Barno. Gets around low, tried to get it to Kelman, and he couldn't hang on to it. I thought it was defended pretty well, wasn't it?
Wes, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. The Panthers were scrambling around on defense. A guy would get beat, somebody'd rotate and help out, and Florida Gulf Coast eventually lost the ball.
Carrington fouled on the 3, and that's Cyrus Largy.
This is just a great job. You see the Panthers rotating around. Everybody's sprinting after one guy or another. And eventually this just wears down Florida Gulf Coast. That's a really good defensive effort.
So Carlton Carrington, better known as Bub, goes to the line. First of 3. That's the second foul on Largy.
Isn't he Little Bub?
Technically, he is Little Bub. His dad is Bub. Big Carlton, I guess you would say, who is a terrific coach, both high school and AAU in the Baltimore area. In fact, the former Panther Jamel Artis was the beneficiary of Big Carlton's coaching. And there you see Little Bub has worked his way to an 11-point first half.
So you got your 2 freshman guards, both in double figures, Wes.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sorry. He's got 9. I said 11. He's got 9,
okay.
Dan. Lowe's got 10. Close enough. 11-point game
Wes,
under a minute to go, and the ball got knocked away. It'll stay with the Eagles of Pat Chambers.
Wes, if you hadn't said anything, nobody would have known.
I know. We just try and be factual, Dan, if nothing else, right? Informative and try to be as accurate as possible. Here's Kelman. Good pressure by the Panthers. Here's Miller now, kicking for Johnston, the deep 3. There's Chase Johnston's calling card. That's his 5th 3 of the year. He's got 7 in the first half. And about a 5-second differential. Shot clock to game clock as we wind down this half.
I think that was a big basket for Florida Gulf Coast. They're back in their zone.
There's Leggett, foul line area. Jeffress turns and scores. Will Jeffress with just his 4th field goal of the year. And it puts the lead to 10. And a timeout here in the final 11 seconds. Well, the Panthers with a 10-point lead at the Peterson Events Center in the final 10.8. This is one of 3 games involving ACC schools tonight. We'll get you caught up on the scoreboard at halftime. The league is off to a terrific start, 23-5 after yesterday's play in the non-conference calendar. A couple weeks away before conference play begins. And there's a turnover with 2 seconds left. Carrington from half court, and the Panthers going to take a 10-point lead to the locker room, Dan.
I thought Pitt made a really good adjustment. Florida Gulf Coast was hurting them on the inside. They started double teaming in the low post, and that got the defense scrambling around, and that got them moving on offense that had been stagnant. So good end of the first half by the Panthers.
Jeff Capel's team's averaging 94.5 points a game. They've got half that pretty much at the break. 45-35. Jalen Lowe has been a nice add to the scoring attack here in this opening 20 minutes. More to come as ACC Network basketball continues after this. But Dan Bonner, West Durham, we get ready to start the second half. Pitt leads Florida Gulf Coast by 10, and Dan, a rookie, had a hand in the Panthers' success in the first half, Jalen Lowe.
Well, he sure did, Wes, and he wasn't the only one, but Lowe, he had not been the standout rookie so far. It had been Carlton Carrington, but Lowe showing you he's able to get the ball to the basket, shoots threes. He made 2 threes in the first half, made a couple of nice passes as well. He was a big reason why the Panthers were able to pull out to that 10-point lead. But then Carrington, we talked about him before. He's the guy that started his career with the triple-double, and he has been outstanding tonight as well. Sort of showcasing a wide variety of skills. He hasn't made a 3 tonight, but the pull-up jumper, and then he really does a nice job getting the ball to the basket. Some good quickness, some good strength, an impressive group. Now, when Florida Gulf Coast had success in the first half, they were able to get it inside to Keyshawn Kelman. Kelman did a great job operating against the Panthers inside, and it was the Panthers' switch defensively in the second half. They went out and started double teaming Kelman that actually got them rolling a little bit, but Kelman was a big factor on the inside.
Kelman, of course, 10 points. He leads the Eagles in scoring. And Lowe and Henson have 10 each for Pitt. Carrington with 9. And Jeff Capel's team shot 48% in the first half. You see 3 threes. And 14 of 23 at the free throw line seems like an advantage based on the makes of Florida Gulf Coast, but that percentage is, at least for the time being, a little pause for concern about Pitt. It's still early. Small sample size, Dan, but it's something you definitely want to clean up, I think, the more you dig into this campaign.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Wes. We talked about the fact that coming in, and again, it's only 2 games, the Panthers were 61% from the line. And that's exactly what they were in the first half.
Yep.
Did a nice job getting to the line. You have to convert, though.
Eagles have the ball to start second half. Barno into the lane. Jump shot over Carrington, and Federico clears it for the Panthers. And at the other end, look at that. 10 now for Ishmael Leggett.
Wes, that whole play started when Federico switched out defensively, forced Barno to stop, then got a rebound, and what a great pitch ahead by Carrington. And we talked about how aggressive Leggett can be offensively, and he's certainly shown that aggressiveness in transition here.
And the 3-point trip for Leggett, he's got 11 now. 5 of 7 at the free throw line after the conversion there. Kelman paid for it with his second foul, first to the frame on Florida Gulf Coast. Anderson answers for the Eagles. 7 now for Zach Anderson on his 3rd field goal. The pressure offered by Coach Chambers' team and Bob Carrington. There's Leggett, lobs Federico the catch and flush.
The defense went to Leggett because Leggett has shown the ability to get all the way to the basket, and you can't leave Federico standing alone under the basket. That is a really nice pass.
Largy, baseline, Anderson blocked, and a foul call.
Pitt doesn't really run plays for their big guys, but they do look for them off penetration, and Federico just has a knack for being able to find the open spot. This is a great delivery.
Federico the foul. His second. Anderson at the line. Now 2 for 3 with the conversion there. Zach Anderson is one of the guys that Pat Chambers talked about prior to the start of the season. He is one of the 3 guys who can impact our season and get us to where we want to go because of his ability to do so many things. He's a 14.5-point scorer through 2 games to lead the Eagles and 6 rebounds. Henson can't answer with a 3 at the other end. 11-point lead now for Pitt. And here is Anderson. And got it to Kelman, and I believe it was blocked and then the foul called. So 2 shots coming from Kelman.
When you miss threes, it creates some opportunities for guys to drive to the basket in early offense, and that time really nice job by Anderson drawing the defense, forcing Austin into the foul situation.
Keyshawn Kelman from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Imagine he needed some tickets. And he got 1 of the 2. 11 for Kelman. Lead is 10 for Pitt. Leggett, another lob, and that's Austin. First field goal for Zach Austin, the transfer from High Point.
Everything built on the dribble penetration for the Panthers.
Kelman a little work on Federico. Left it short. Leggett. Leggett all the way down. The kick for Austin. On the drive, and a foul on the Eagles.
Wes, how many times have we seen this tonight? Leggett being able to do a nice job getting into the lane, draws 3 defenders, and Austin just finds the open spot. Nice little lob.
The charge was called on Zach Austin. So that's his second. And 3 quickly on Pitt from a team perspective here in the first 2.5 minutes. Isaiah Thompson on the floor for the first time, second half. Anderson fall away. Inside Weir, the stick back. Andre Weir had some first half foul trouble with 2 quick ones, but he's got his second field goal.
Big body, Wes. He's just a load for the Panthers to handle inside.
Henson can't rattle the 3 in. Now Thompson and the Eagles trying to find something offensively. Lead for Weir. There's Federico. Double team help from Henson. Johnston's 3. Rebounded Largy, right back for Johnston. Now Weir the dunk.
That time that Florida Gulf Coast made Pitt pay for all their scrambling around on defense. They found some open opportunities and eventually got an easy offensive rebound.
And the lob for Federico deflected by Weir, but he couldn't pull in the turnover before it goes out of bounds. So it will stay with Pitt and an 8-point lead for the Panthers. Here's Carrington working against Largy. Long 2. Got it.
What a nice pull-up off the dribble. If a guy can do that, Wes, he's almost impossible to defend.
Yep. He's got a smoothness about him too, Dan, for a young guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and a confidence as well.
And a foul called. And it'll be on Federico, I believe. And that'll be the 3rd on Federico, and it is 4 now on Pitt. Jeff Capel's team up 10 here, and Federico will get a seat.
Wes, they're up 10, but it doesn't feel like a comfortable 10 if you're a Pitt fan.
That's right. Guillermo Diaz-Graham, you see, checks in. There's Johnston now working against Ishmael Leggett. Baseline. And they're going to call pass goaltending on Guillermo. They are. So Johnston gets his 4th field goal. He's got 9. But Ishmael Leggett's provided the power for the dunks. Federico and Austin, both the recipients here in the second half. Eight-point lead for Pittsburgh as we rejoin you. Don't forget women's basketball on ACC Network. Coming up on Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock, presented by Food Lion, number 25 Oklahoma visits Virginia. And then at 4 o'clock, we'll take you to the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. Bucknell visits Jeff Walls and the Louisville Cardinals. All for you on ACC Network. Always available on the ESPN app. With Dan Bonner, West Durham, and coverage of Pitt and Florida Gulf Coast tonight. And a 3-ball out of the timeout for Zach Austin. His first triple of the year. He's got 5 to lead Pitt here in the second half.
Really nice ball movement, and Carrington found a wide open man. Austin was able to step into that one.
Lead back to 11 now for the Panthers. Johnston, who's been a pesky scorer tonight for the Eagles. Anderson on the drive. Johnston a 3, good. Chase Johnston from the corner.
Wes, that was right at the end of the shot clock, and he just let that go so fast he felt he wasn't going to be able to get it off. Maybe that's the key for him. Don't think about it, just let it go.
Guillermo Diaz-Graham in the traffic. Back to Carrington. Guillermo squares. 3 off the back iron. Rebound for Weir.
Got to be ready to shoot that when you first catch it, Wes.
3 ball from out on the left. And Austin a rebound for Pitt. Carrington, nice feet ahead. Guillermo the catch, left it on the front rim and then slapped it away from Weir.
That's going to be Pitt's ball.
Yeah, Roger Ayers tapping his head to indicate that Diaz-Graham might have slapped it off the head of Andre Weir. And you're right, Dan. Shot clock winding down when Chase Johnston buried that one.
But I mean, Wes, he just let that go like a second baseman on a double play. You know, the ball's in his hands and it's gone.
Yep. 8-point lead. Carrington out front. Strong, and Jeffress kept it alive. Good hustle by Will Jeffress. Leggett, Carrington, Guillermo Diaz-Graham, and there's the drive and score for Ishmael Leggett.
The Panthers have struggled shooting. They've struggled shooting the 3, but Leggett hadn't struggled driving that ball to the goal.
Keyshawn Kelman in the corner. This is Isaiah Thompson for the 3.
And Florida Gulf Coast just keeps hanging around.
Yeah, first points of the night for Thompson. Leggett again, fishing around, got blocked by Kelman off the spin. Skip for Johnston. Lefty runner and pulled away Carrington. Outlet for Lowe on the drive and left it short.
How about that rebound by Carrington though?
This is Miller. And now Thompson to work. Cut through the double team, and Lowe reached in with 7 on the shot clock. That'll be the second on Jalen Lowe.
Nice pressure there by Diaz-Graham, but Carrington just pulls the rebound down. And Wes, when you get it out that quickly, you can really get going down the court. The Panthers didn't convert this, but Carrington did a nice job turning the defensive play into offense really quickly.
get a foul called off the ball. An offensive foul on Kelman, I believe.
Illegal screen.
Yep. Third on Keyshawn Kelman.
That one's not hard. That one is not hard.
Nope.
Sort of the lean in. You have to be stationed here.
So Weir's back on the floor to spell Kelman. Carrington tried to go right by the big guy, but Andre Weir took away the baseline for him. Here's Henson trying to get back online, and he's going to get fouled on the runner. And Blake Henson's going to get a couple of free throws out of this.
This is really a nice cut and a nice pass. One of the few times tonight that the Panthers have tried to spread the court and make a cut to the basket as opposed to trying to attack with dribble penetration. And Henson like to have that one back. That's one you'd like to see your big guy finish and go to the line for an and one.
Couple free throws here for Blake Henson. 10 points in the first half. Scoreless so far here in the second for Jeff Capel's team. And the free throws too strong, and the woes at the line tonight continue for the Panthers, who are now 15 of 25 at the line. You see Dalion Johnson come into the lineup, and he replaces Franco Miller Jr. And Henson had that one roll away. Boy. Yep.
Nothing you do about that if you're Jeff Capel.
And taken away by Jeffress. Did a nice job defending the entry pass. Here's Lowe. Stops and starts and scores. My goodness.
How about that?
Yep. A dozen for Jalen Lowe. It's his best college game of the first three in his career here for the Panthers. Johnson trying to answer. Airballed the three. Carrington. Long two. Did he bank it? I think he did.
I think he did.
It's a three. It's a three for Carrington.
All right.
And a timeout. Youth has been served here in Pittsburgh. Jalen Lowe and Bub Carrington, two rookies in the lineup tonight for the Panthers. And Pitt has built a 12-point lead in the second half. Well, the Zoo doing their part for the Panthers tonight to try and get Pitt to 3-0. 12-point lead for Jeff Capel's team. Under 12 to go in this second half. And Dan, it's been fun to watch these two rookies go tonight for the Panthers, and Jalen Lowe's been really good.
Yeah, the Zoo may be doing its part, but Jalen Lowe has taken on a big load here. Look, his first two games, he said he played very well in areas other than offensively. Didn't shoot the ball well. No problem tonight. You can see there 12 points on 5 of 8 shooting.
So the timeout now, and Pat Chambers' team with Isaiah Thompson back on the floor.
I think this is another critical spot for this Florida Gulf Coast team.
Kelman was calling for the ball on the block. Under 10 on the clock. Thompson the drive and got the runner. Tough shot, 5 in Isaiah Thompson's second half.
Now you're in a tight spot. You need your best guy to make a play, and Thompson just did.
Out front, here's Lowe. 3 ball off the screen of Diaz. Graham too strong. Thompson again. Now this is a guy started his career at Purdue. Was kind of in the rotation, not a main starter for Painters Boilers, but has come to Florida Gulf Coast and had an impact in Pat Chambers' program for sure. And a fall away by Anderson and a foul on Henson. Blake will draw his second. is 6 now on Pitt. And Blake Henson talking with Lee Cassell about things.
Well, you're talking about Isaiah Thompson, and he didn't score a lot at Purdue, but he played in 96 games.
10-point lead for Pitt. Timeout after the Henson foul. Ten-point lead for Pitt. Dan, you mentioned 96 games in his Purdue career for Isaiah Thompson. That makes tonight career game 130 for the senior from Zionsville, Indiana.
One of the reasons
he is the unquestioned leader of this team, right?
Yeah, and one of the reasons they went to play at Indiana was because Zionsville is very close, but he was not able to play in that game, still recovering from that shoulder injury. But Pat Chambers said Thompson went to him and said, "Coach, I'd like to try." They're really trying to save him for conference play.
And Anderson got one of the two, so it's a 9-point game. 9 games with 20 or more last year for Isaiah Thompson. But here's Carrington. Back for Henson. He'll fire and hit. Bit of a drought from the perimeter for Blake Henson. His second 3 of the night, his first basket of the second half.
Good ball movement and player movement, and Henson was able to step into that one.
Back to a 12-point lead for the Panthers. Kelman backing down Diaz. Graham will draw the foul on Guillermo.
This is really good ball. You see, there's nobody in the post, Wes. They spread the court, and again, Blake Henson can really shoot the 3. It's only his second tonight, but again, he's very streaky from out there.
Well, the foul on Guillermo Diaz-Graham gives Keyshawn Kelman a trip to the line. 1 for 2, and he'll have a second one coming. Federico comes back. Remember, gotten some quick fouls here in the early part of the second half. So Federico's been over there on the bench, and Kelman gets the back end. So 12 tonight for Keyshawn Kelman.
Federico's a guy who can get into foul trouble, Wes, because he's so active defensively.
Here's Carrington working against Largy. Inside of 10, and now Leggett left open. Long rebound, Henson up strong. Blake Henson's got Pitt's last 5.
Strong is the word for it, Wes. He just muscled his way to the goal.
Yep, 13-point lead. Ahead of 9 to go here. Kelman, scoop with the right hand, missed everything.
That's interesting.
Jeffress for Carrington. Now Henson tried to go right at Kelman, and I think it got picked away. So a turnover by the Panthers. Anderson trying to get Jeffress to commit. Turned over, and here is Leggett open floor.
Tremendous defense by Jeffress, Wes. He simply would not let Anderson turn into the lane to his right hand, and it ended up being a turnover.
15-point lead, largest of the night for the Panthers. Thompson back for Kelman. He'll score. 14 for Kelman on his 6th field goal.
That's where
it's up over. Go ahead, Dan.
That's where Florida Gulf Coast has had their best success, Rex.
Here's Carrington back inside. Nice look for Federico.
Federico's going to set that screen and roll to the basket, and you need to be conscious of that.
Thompson waiting for help. And Federico going to be called for the foul. This will be 4 now on Federico, the junior from Finland, and 7 on Pitt, Dan.
Federico is a guy who can be very effective on the inside, and what a pass by Carrington. The Panthers comfortably ahead.
Hey, don't forget, we got a full Week 12 of ACC football for you starting Saturday at noon on ACC Network. A command center version of number 11 Louisville's visit to Miami, to where they try and clinch their spot in the ACC championship game. Then at 3:30, Virginia Tech, who laid the wood at BC last Saturday, and NC State, who had a big win at Wake Forest, square off at Lane Stadium at Worship Field at 3:30. And then ACC Network primetime. Bowl bid on the line for the winner of Georgia Tech and Syracuse. All of it on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. 4 double-figure scores tonight, Dan, including the 2 freshmen, Carrington and Jalen Lowe, who I've really enjoyed watching these guys for the first time.
Wes, I'm with you 100%. They have been very entertaining. And Pitt, they've got 73 points despite the fact that they've shot the ball poorly from 3 and poorly from the free throw line. Jeff Capel has himself a very interesting team. I think there is an awful lot of potential here.
Thompson's got 6. And the second one good. 7 for Isaiah Thompson, who played for the other night for the first time against Ave Maria, the NAIA opponent that the Eagles beat at home in Fort Myers. He missed the Indiana game, as Dan alluded to early. But he's played 24 minutes the other night, and looks like he's had a full scoop here as Carrington's 3 pounds away.
Well, that was an open look, and that was not a forced shot. The Panthers, again, just haven't scored well from 3, and that's a defensive breakdown. You haven't seen too many of those tonight.
Yep. Weir has 9 in the ball game, now on his 4th field goal.
And the Eagles of Florida Gulf Coast trying to change the tempo a little bit with some pressure.
Guillermo Diaz-Graham working down on Weir all the way to the basket. Couldn't finish, couldn't get the rebound, and now Isaiah Thompson and the Eagles launching a deep 3 that's good. Wow, Thompson, a long triple. He's got 10 now, and it's an 8-point game, under 6 to go.
Well, they needed to respond, and Thompson has. Remember, Wes, he came in the game when it looked like they really needed a spark, and he gave it to him.
Carrington. Henson tries to answer, and does. 18 for Henson now. Back to a double-figure advantage for the Panthers. Isaiah Thompson's got all 10 in the second half, but Pitt up 11. Honor West Durham, Pitt up 76-65, under 6 to go, as the Panthers try to get to 3-0 before Friday night's game with Jacksonville. And then next week they go off to Brooklyn and Barclays Center to see Florida in the NIT tip-off, Dan. And Jeff Capel's team trying to build a little bit here, but Florida Gulf Coast is riding Isaiah Thompson to keep within arm's reach here with 5.5 to play. 3 again from out on the left. Good. Another one for Thompson.
Wes, we just showed you that graphic where he shot 39% from 3 at Purdue, so he can shoot it out there. They're doing a nice job running plays to get him open.
Yep. 13 all in the second half, and a turnover by the Panthers. 8-point game. Skip across to the dangerous Chase Johnston against Will Jeffress. And Henson gets the switch on Thompson. Anderson against Jeffress. 2 to shoot, and Jeffress took it away. 2 really good defensive plays by Jeffress here in half 2. Diaz Graham straight away. Henson tried for the battle inside. Finally recovered by Largy.
The 3 here makes it very interesting, Wes.
Sure does. Thompson, Johnston for 3. Nope. We're the rebound and the foul. Guillermo Diaz Graham commits the foul.
And Weir, with that 265-pound body, just out-muscled Diaz Graham on the inside. The Panthers did a really good job on the boards in the first half, but Florida Gulf Coast has gotten their share here in the second, and we talked about a three-point basket. Well, here's a chance for the Eagles to get a 3 the old-fashioned way.
And they do. We're now 2 of 3 at the line. He's got 12 in the game. The lead is 5 with under 4 to go.
I don't think this is a situation where the Panthers can't settle for a 3. They need to get something, I think, going to the basket.
Carrington at 2. And he is fouled on the play. And we'll get a timeout. Eagles have drawn to as close a Pitt as they've been the whole half. 5-point game when we come back. Well, the game is 5 points. Pitt in front, but Isaiah Thompson's been a big reason the Florida Gulf Coast has made this run, Dan.
Well, he's got 13 all in the second half, Wes, and in addition to the fact that he's made 3 threes here, he's done a great job moving the ball around. He's got a couple of assists, he's got a couple of steals, and he's done a nice job defensively. He has really stabilized this team at a point where they absolutely needed it.
So Thompson will come back, and he is now right in the neighborhood of the amount of time he played the other night against Ave Maria. You see the Eagle run 13-3 in the last 3.5 for Pat Chambers' team. Bub Carrington at the line after the foul on Johnston. And the free throw good.
That's only the 4th free throw attempt of the second half for the Panthers.
And he knocked them both down. Pushed it back to 7 for Jeff Capel's team. Florida Gulf Coast now 51% from the floor.
They've gotten good shots. They've made it.
Largy into Weir. Against Federico. Tap follow, rolls in. Cyrus Largy.
Largy's one of their most effective rebounders at 6'3". He's a very aggressive player, good strength on the inside. Oh my heavens.
Now I'm not sure if Weir commits his 3rd. That's the 5th on FGCU.
Wes, he was trying to do that. That's, I mean, Federico, not a good free throw shooter. And this is a situation where the officials are going to review it to see if that was a flagrant foul. Because was he making an attempt to play the ball? He just went and wrapped him up.
And so Roger Ayers, Lee Cassell over for a look.
Well, Wes said they're going to look, and again, the flagrant foul, there was nothing excessive there, but it certainly was unnecessary, and it's excessive and or unnecessary and not a legitimate attempt to play the ball. And so those are the 2 factors they're going to consider. And they've decided it's a flagrant 1 foul because he did not make a legitimate attempt to play the ball.
And Andre Weir will get his third.
Well, this is normally something you see at the end of the game, but he just went right out there and grabbed him, Wes. That was a relatively easy call. And it's not like Federico is the worst free throw shooter in the world. He shot 65% last year, only 33% this year, but he's only been to the line a couple of times.
He's 2 for 8 after 2 misses in the first half. And now 2 for 9.
Of course, with a flagrant one, there's 2 shots by the person who's fouled, in this case, Federico. Banked it in, there you go. And Pitt gets the ball.
And Carrington will handle the inbounds here. You see the free throw numbers tonight for the Panthers. 60%, 18 of 30.
But 23 of those were in the first half, those attempts.
Leggett squeezes inside and scores.
Boy, he is
9.5 for Leggett. Yeah, he is. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, he can get to the basket, and he doesn't need to get all the way there. He does a really nice job with that little turnaround. Got good size.
Now the switch, and Thompson against Henson. Lost it on the dribble, turned it over.
Very well played by Henson, moving his feet.
And Federico ahead for the dunk.
Well, he can run. He can run.
Boy, and Ishmael Leggett. You know, we said this at the top, between the 2 freshmen, Lowe, Carrington, and then Leggett, they're just kind of the sparks to the offensive system that Jeff Capel wants. And there's a look ahead for Federico in the dunk.
Federico, he knows how to run the court, and Leggett sees him. They're looking for the big guy to run, and when he does, they reward him. But Leggett has passed the ball well. Leggett has driven the ball to the basket. He's been pretty solid defensively.
And it's a 10-point Pitt lead with 2:24 to go. Dan, a year ago, we talked with Jeff Capel about it today. There was Nellie Cummings, there was Jamarius Burton, there was Nike Sabandi, it was Greg Elliott. There were so many variables with this team, and it feels like while you don't know the variables by name, you're getting a lot of the same type playing personalities out of Jalen Lowe, Ishmael Leggett, and certainly Bub Carrington.
And I think it's a good sign for the Panthers that in the first couple of games they got really good offensive performances from the Diaz-Graham twins. Not both in the same game, but I think it was Jorge in the first game and Guillermo in the second. But now Lowe didn't play well offensively in the first 2 games, and against higher level competition he has performed very well tonight.
Yep.
Again, there's just a lot of potential with this Pitt team.
Yeah, they're going to see another A-Sun team on Friday night in Jacksonville before Florida, who played Virginia a tight one the other night in Charlotte, next week in Brooklyn. Here is Thompson. Eagles need a basket. Down 10, just ahead of 2 minutes to go. A screen and a 3 that missed everything, and that's Leggett recovering the air ball. Lob again. Federico missed the dunk, got the rebound, couldn't score it. Kelman the rebound.
That's a tough break for the Panthers. I think Federico got a finger on that shot, and then he just sprinted down to the other end.
Baseline they go, and a bump will be called on Carrington. It will be his second. And that is 10 by my count on the Panthers. And Cyrus Largy, the senior from Miramar, who started 5 games a year ago for Chambers in his first year, playing in his 102nd career game tonight for the Eagles at the line for his 3rd point. 2 years ago, Largy averaged almost 14 points a game in the 2021 campaign, I should say 3 years ago, and then had to battle injuries in 21-22. 9-point lead with 90 seconds to go at the Pitt tonight in Pittsburgh. Carrington. Henson now against Johnston. Blake will just turn, and now Leggett cutting through. Back for Henson, and that's a deep three. Spins out. Federico and Pitt with a fresh shot clock, and a foul will be called after Henson got it back quickly to Federico, and the big man from Finland was fouled.
Some really nice interior passing, but I am surprised that Henson didn't shoot that ball. But Leggett, Johnny on the spot once again, and look how deep that shot was. Of course, the shot clock's running down, but really nice interior passing.
Federico misses the first. Pat Chambers' team, this is not the last Power 5 team they're going to see. Missed the second as well. Eagles are playing an incredibly competitive non-conference schedule out of the A-Sun, and Kelman went to the basket and had it deflected.
Now both Federico and Jeffress were there.
Yep. And now Leggett going to wind this shot clock down as you see time winding out on the Eagles' night here in Pittsburgh. Leggett to the basket. And they go to the deck, and Federico's got it. And with one on the shot clock, it goes down.
Okay.
My heavens. My heavens. Carrington, look at this. Oh, my heavens. Bob Carrington. And that's going to do it for Pitt. Henson going to hold the basketball, and the Panthers are going to win 86-74, Dan. Florida Gulf Coast gave them quite a test, but I would say this Pitt team that's a nice mix of new and old showed us some things here in Game 3.
Wes, I thought so. This is a good Florida Gulf Coast team. We showed you they're picked second by the coaches to finish in their league. Nice game again by Carrington, but I'm telling you what, it's a good, solid, workman-like performance. Maybe not spectacular by the Panthers, but you're not going to win all your games in a spectacular fashion. Sometimes you got to go out and just outwork them, and I thought that's what Pitt did tonight.
4 in double figures tonight for Jeff Capel's team as they go to 3-0. They'll host Jacksonville on Friday. 19 for Bub Carrington, 17 Ishmael Leggett, 18 for Blake Henson, and a dozen for Jalen Lowe. Great to be with Dan Bond. Thanks to our producer Jason Earl, our director Kevin Wheeler, and our wonderful ACC Network crew tonight. West Durham, the final. Pittsburgh 86, Florida Gulf Coast 74. Stay tuned. Jess Roy's next. 3-day weekend in Pittsburgh. All for you on the Atlantic Coast Conference Television Network.